Amir Khan and Dimitri Salita have weighed in ahead of their world title fight in Newcastle on Saturday night. Hi, welcome to the last of our countdown shows as Amir Khan hopes to light up the Northeast with another sparkling performance. The young star making a crucial first defence of his WBA light welterweight crown. Johnny Nelson knows what it's like to win and defend a world title. He'll be part of our big fight team on Saturday night. So Khan and Salita went face to face for the final time of the weigh-in. Ian Darke was there.
After two test weigh-ins, Dimitri Salita, stripped naked and with only a towel to save his blushes, just about boiled his body down to the 10-stone weight limit.
Salita weighs in 10 stone exactly.
For Salita, an Orthodox Jew, it is Sabbath until sunset on fight day. He can't train, use anything electrical, or even press a lift button. Meanwhile, there were no problems for Amir Khan, who seemed very confident and made the weight with something to spare.
9 stone, 13 and a half, Amir Khan.
So what did Khan make of Salita's struggle with the scales?
If he's making it hard to make weight and stuff, he's going to be very weak in the body. So I think time will tell on Saturday. You know, the game plan that me and Freddie have got for this guy, you know, I don't think he's going to overcome me. I don't think he can get past me. But, you know, I've made the weight so easy today. I feel nice and strong and sharp. I can get in the ring now and fight. But yeah, you know what? It's going to be an exciting fight. I could see in his eyes when I was head-to-head that, you know, he had a bit of fear in his eyes. You know, he seemed confident yesterday, but today,
you thought he looked nervous, did you?
Yeah, I looked very nervous today. Yeah, I could see through his eyes, you know, and I could see through him, and he looked very nervous. You know, last fight of the year, I want to put a great performance on, and you know, Salita is an American opponent. I want to prove to Americans how good Amir Khan is. Get rid of this guy. Not only just win it, but I want to win it in a good style. It's all about winning it in a good fashion, keeping my hands tight, sticking to the game plan, and taking this guy out.
Well, you can't beat a big fight weigh-in, can you? We really had some drama there with Dimitri Salita arriving before everybody else, needing 2 check weigh-ins before making the 10 stone. Is that a problem for him, Jim?
I don't think it's a problem. We have to remember Salita is a big light welterweight. He's only been inside 10 stone twice in 31 fights. So we knew he was training down to the weight, but he's done it properly. The main thing is he looks fit, strong and healthy. I
was interested to hear Amir Khan saying afterwards there, I looked into his eyes when we stood there toe-to-toe afterwards for the photographers. I saw fear. I think he's nervous. Psychological warfare?
Probably a little bit of that, but I'd like to think Salita's nervous. It's taken him a long time to get here. I think he realises if he blows it, then he's not going to get another chance. So his whole career, his whole life hinges on this fight, so he's going to give it everything.
I'm looking forward to this fight because I think Amir Khan's been quite brilliant in 2009. I reckon he might do something spectacular again for the fans this time.
Yeah, well, Amir wants to be a star as well as a world champion. Well, that starts with Salita. He wants to put on a performance, he wants to hang on to the title, but he wants to look good doing it.
And you know, though, that in boxing, things can go wrong. Look at Roy Jones Jr. this week, knocked out in a round by Danny Green. So in boxing, anything can happen.
That is for sure. Weight and size, an issue here, do you think?
For Salita, no. You don't have 31 unbeaten fights by cutting corners or making mistakes. I think he was just being correct. I think he was being safe. If it was an issue, his face would be dry, his mouth would be tight. He wasn't. He was just doing it correct.
But the first real light welterweight that Khan has faced.
That's it. So we're going to see, can he step up? Can he do what Freddie Roach is hoping he can do and make it through the divisions? Being world champion is not enough for Roach. He wants him to be a superstar. So it just shows this isn't all they want to be.
Khan looked good, sounded confident as well, which is a good sign.
Khan looked absolutely brilliant. He looked chiselled, upper body strength, back looked massive, shoulder looked massive, small forearms for the speed, good shoulders, and that's a good sign. How he talks, the twinkle in his eye, he talks confident as a champion. He now believes in himself.
Do you think speed is, again, going to be the key for Khan?
I think speed is going to be king for this fight. I think for Khan, as he's going into the weights, as he stepped up through the weights, speed is always going to be his victor. Speed is the thing that's going to get him what it is. He's got an educated flurry of rage when he lets the shots go and fire. He just can't deal with it.
You didn't sense any overconfidence there, then?
No, I just think he was trying to be quietly confident.
All right, will it be another memorable night in Amir Khan's career?
Lewis. Suddenly, British boxing's right back in business.
He had a lot of doubters, but now they're starting to come around and realise it's a real deal. Same thing with me, you know, we've both been in a similar boat, you know, both new world champions, and we're both looking at, you know, dominating our divisions.
When Amir Khan comes to the States, I believe he can have that same following, or probably even bigger than a Ricky Hatton. if he keeps up with his training regimen, if he keeps his focus, if he keeps hungry, he can be one of the superstars in the sport of boxing.
Many youngsters.
Exciting night and exciting times for British boxing. One of the men who's masterminded Khan's career so far is talking to Ian Darke.
Well, here's promoter Frank Warren. Frank, we've seen Amir Khan in quite spectacular form in 2009. More of the same here?
I would hope so. He seems very confident. He looks good physically and mentally. I know he's in great shape. So I'm looking for a sparkling performance for him. But you know what? You can't get careless. This guy can punch. If he catches him, you know, you never know what's going to happen. But I think, you know, all things being equal, you know, Amir's going to look really good tomorrow.
And if he does come through this, the world seems to be his oyster. What would be your ideal plan for him?
Look, he wants to go to the States. He's made no sort of bones about that. But the thing is, when you go to the States, you've got to go there with a bit of strength. And the strength is, you know, being able to sit down, negotiate, make sure you can get some decent-sized purses, that you're going to sell tickets, you know, on the gate. And I think he needs a bit more work here before he does that. Yeah, by the end of the year, fine, go off to the States. But I'd like to see him having a couple more fights here, first of all.
And also on this card, of course, you're 3 Olympians, and we've got so many great youngsters coming through. These are boom times for British boxing.
Well, 6 months ago, everybody was writing it off and saying UFC was going to knock us out of the game. And I always said, 2 different sports, and we have the best crop of youngsters coming through. I certainly have got some great guys under my wing at the moment, and I'm really looking forward to next year and the year after, because I think we're going to have some really good, talented world champions.
OK, let's hope those boom times continue here.
Yeah, boxing boom times. It would be a wonderful way to end what's been a great year.
Okay, listen, we're now seeing a surge of all the new breed coming through. All stock is moving on, and Amir Khan's come through, and he's looking really, really well. I think now, this time, at the end of the year, how he started at the beginning of the year, the doubts, he's knocked all of that out of the water. He's become world champion. It's his first defence. He can move into 2010 on a high.
Amazing. It was a year ago, almost to be good, isn't it? Let's get final thoughts from Newcastle with Jim and Ian.
Well, I always love Amir Khan fight nights. There have been so many unscripted dramas in his career already. And, Jim, you're never quite sure what's going to happen in there.
Yeah, well, Amir, he is fast, he is exciting, but once or twice he's looked a little bit vulnerable. But when he's boxing, you always feel something's going to happen. You're never quite sure what it's going to be.
The big thing, of course, with Khan is this blinding speed he has. I don't think there's a faster fighter in the world, well, apart from his stablemate Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, well, speed is definitely his main asset, but the Salita camp reckon their man is pretty quick too. He's an excellent counter-puncher, he's well-schooled, and I think he realises maybe he will trail in the early rounds because of Khan's speed, but they look to impose themselves in the second half of the fight. I would imagine that must be their plan. 1 or 2 boxing shocks in Newcastle in the past, including Nigel Benn losing his title here to Sugar Boy Malinga, Nassim Hamed put on the floor, first time in his career. And what do you think of the Salita camp's argument that their guy's so much bigger, that Khan's no more than a blown-up lightweight? Well, I think that is a fact. You have to remember he just stepped up from lightweight, whereas Salita is training down to light welterweight. He is massive. He was 10 stone 6 for his last fight. He's probably going to be closer to 11 stone when the first bell sounds, so that has to be an edge. So that's the story here. Amir Khan, is he going to put on another big dramatic performance here? I think he will, you know.
Do you think he will as well? One of the beauties of him is his unpredictability.
That's right. The last time Amir boxed an opponent we didn't know enough about was Prescott. We don't know enough about Salita. This is going to be a hard, dangerous fight. You cannot underestimate this man. It's his mandatory challenger. It's a fight he has to take, and he's unbeaten.
Who wins and how?
Khan, speed. Later on, wears him down. Salita makes a mistake.